Hey everyone, I'm the Anime Watcher, and today I spent 24 hours researching on Demon Slayer, and I found 7 what-if scenario that can change Demon storyline completely. What if theory number 1? What if Sabato and Marcomo were still alive? This would change the Hashira storyline completely. It could even create a new anime series if we think about it. But first, to save Sabato from his death by that 10-armed demon crushing his skull, Mr. Urokodaki is the key. He is the main reason why Sabato murderer. He is the one who get all his students killed, so in this scenario, we will make Mr. Urokodaki correct his mistake by kill that weird 10-armed demon on the spot, when he is still weak. If there is no demon waiting to crush Urokodaki's students' skulls, there will be a lot more water-breathing users in the Demon Slayer Corps. Sabito and Marcomo will make it through the final selection with Giyu Tomioka, their best friend. After becoming Demon Slayers, they will form a trio of Demon Slayers who go on missions together, just like our main character, Tanjiro Inosuke and Yellow Boy. And Giyu will be the main characters this time. We know that Giyu's sister died by a demon attack, right? So he swore to God that he would avenge his sister by killing the Demon King Muzan. But his personality will not be as depressed anymore because this time his friend Sabito is still with him, and Giyu will not blame himself for his friend's death like the original story. After 5 to 10 missions together, Master Kagaya Ubuyashiki will assign them to a mission to defeat one of the Lower Moon demons. This Lower Moon also has minions like Rui. Marcomo will defeat the minions with Giyu. With this top 3 of Urokodaki's students together, this Lower Moon will not stand a chance. After defeating the Lower Moon, Sabito will become the Water Hashira this time. Not because Sabito is stronger than Giyu, but because Giyu loves his friend so much, he will let Sabito kill the Lower Moon and become the Hashira. Since even in the original story Giyu always blamed himself and thought that the Water Hashira title should belong to Sabito. Sabito is a person who will not let his emotions control him like Giyu. He is more mature and detailed. Sabito heard about Kanai Kocho mission, and he decides to accompany Kanai Kocho on her mission, along with Rengoku because he senses something is wrong. He knows that Kanai Kocho has a naive desire to befriend demons, and he fears that this upper-rank demon might deceive her and kill her when she lowers her guard. He asks Rengoku to join him in helping Kanai Kocho, since Rengoku is also her regular partner. His suspicion proves correct. As he was about to finish off the flower-breathing Hashira, Rengoku and Sabito intervened with their flame and water swords, saving Kanai Kocho from the jaws of the cunning demon. Despite Doma's status as an upper moon, the trio of Hashira managed to overcome him, though not without sustaining injuries and poison. Doma unleashed his icy powers and tricks, but they were no match for Rengoku's fiery blade, which melted his frost. In the end, Rengoku delivered the final blow, severing Doma's head with his scorching sword, after they defeat sassy Bakadama Demon Doma. We also know that this is the time when Master Kagaya Ubuyashiki's wife saves Muichiro Tokito's butt from the demon attack, because our boy didn't close the door when he slept. If only he closed the door, the demon wouldn't smell his stinky fart, and his brother would not die. In the original story, Muichiro Tokito was taught and mentored by another Hashira in the mansion, and the closest one was Giyu Tomioka. But this time, instead of Giyu and Rengoku who train him, it will be Sabito and Kanai Kocho, who will be his mentors, because Rengoku was down bad after fighting with a sassy demon. The reason why Muichiro Tokito has this deadpan personality is because he learned it from Giyu, his mentor. But this time, our Muichiro Tokito will be energetic and thoughtful like Kanai and Sabito. Sabito will send to Tanjiro's house this time instead of Giyu, being strict and thoughtful. Sabito would go there faster than he should. He would meet Muzan and face the Demon King himself. But Sabito was smart. He would not attack Muzan blindly. He planned to distract him. But first he heard Muzan force Nezuko's mother to tell him about the location of the blue spider lily. Then he shouted from outside the house, tricking Muzan that there were 9 Hashira coming to kick his butt right now. Knowing Muzan, he knew his strength and would not get into a fight that was not necessary. But he was still mad and killed Tanjiro's family again. But this time, Sabito was here. Not only did he save Nezuko's butt, but he also saw that everyone was brutally injured and could not be saved. But Sabito also see one more person who's still breathing like Nezuko. It's none other than Hanako, the little sister of Nezuko. Her mother used her body to protect her from Muzan's attack. Plus, this time Sabito was here. He would bring both Nezuko and Hanako back to the mansion. But he knew that if he went to the mansion, Hanako would die because she was more injured than Nezuko. When he was about to bring them both, Tanjiro's mother used her last breath to tell Sabito to go to her secret village, where the blue spider lily could grow, and make medicine for them. When Sabito arrived at the village, there was only one blue spider lily left, because Nezuko's mother had destroyed all the blue spider lilies a week ago, knowing how dangerous it would be if Muzan found out. After saving them both, he was surprised and thought they were going to turn into demons, but instead they both turned into cute demons, who could walk in sunlight and talk like humans. Sabito would bring them back home to meet Tanjiro. Then he would take Tanjiro to train in the mansion and meet Master Kagaya Ubuyashiki himself. Kagaya Ubuyashiki would be very happy, because instead of trying to defeat all the demons, they came close to curing all the demons. He would ask Kanai Kocho and Shinobu to take Hanako and Nezuko's blood to test and train them to be demon slayers. If this happened, the final fight between Muzan and the Hashira would happen faster than in the original story, because Muzan would send all the upper moons to hunt down Nezuko and Hanako and bring them to him, so he could eat them and become the immortal, perfect being. Muzan could not control Nezuko, but he would find the Demon Slayer Corps' location by Hanako's blood. This time, the final battle would take place in the city, in the Demon Slayer mansion itself. And remember, Muzan had not killed the lower six yet, and Rui was also not defeated yet in this story. So Muzan would come full force with the 12 Kazuki plus the one-eyed lazy demon too. All the former Hashira would also come to fight too. Who do you think would win if this happened? What if theory number 2? What if Muzan was a good guy? How would the story change if Muzan was not a pure evil demon who was obsessed with becoming a perfect being, but a benevolent one who wanted to help others? To answer that question, let's look at his past as a human. Muzan was not a poor man, he was a prince in Japan's royal bloodline, so he had the money and power to hire the best doctor to cure him of his terminal illness. If Muzan was a good guy from the start, he would not kill the doctor who turned him into a demon. Instead, he would use his resources and influence to obtain some blood to drink without harming any humans, and he would still hunt down the blue spider lily, a rare flower that could allow him to walk under the sun. His main goal would still be to become a perfect being who was immortal and powerful, but he would do it with kindness and compassion. What about the upper moon demons? Would they still exist? Yes. Muzan would still turn some of them into demons, but only if they were on the verge of death and wanted to live. He would not force anyone to become a demon against their will. He would also not curse or control those demons. He would let them walk free on Earth, but he would guide them to be good demons who did not harm humans. Let's start with the upper moon one, Kokushibo. Kokushibo would not be jealous of his brother, Yoriichi, because Muzan was good, so Yoriichi would have no reason to create the sun-breathing technique to defeat Muzan. Kokushibo and Yoriichi would live their normal lives with their families. But if Kokushibo still wanted to be a demon, Muzan would not turn him into one at first because he would sense his greed. However, Yoriichi, being a good brother and a respected samurai, would ask Muzan to turn his brother into a demon, and Muzan would agree. But he would watch over him and inspire him to be a good demon. Next, let's talk about Doma. He met Muzan for the first time when he was 20 years old. Muzan offered him the chance to become a demon, and he accepted it without hesitation, like a true psychopath. But in this scenario, Muzan would influence him to become a benevolent demon and use his power to protect his cult followers. As a result, Inosuke's mother would survive and marry him. Inosuke would grow up with Doma as his demon stepfather, instead of becoming a boar-headed boy raised by a boar. Moreover, Kanai Kocho would not fall victim to his cruelty and live happily with her sister and family. Gyutaro and Daki would still become demons, since they were dying and begged for help. But this time, it would be Muzan himself who would come to their rescue, not Doma. Based on what happened to Daki, Gyutaro would not be a good person. He would harbor resentment and envy towards those who had a better life than him. Muzan would be well aware of the potential threat that these two could pose, so he would strike a deal with them. They would act as good demons and help people with their power, in exchange for a second chance at life, a lot of money, and a nice place to stay. What about Akaza? Before he became a demon, his name was Hakuji. Hakuji was forced to steal medicine for his sick father, and he was caught. He was beaten to the ground and given tattoos as a mark of a criminal. The people even called him a demon child. When his father learned about his misdeeds, he hanged himself, leaving a letter to Hakuji saying that all he wanted was for Hakuji to live a full life without dishonesty. Hakuji was then banished from his hometown because of his repeated crimes. If Muzan met him at this time, he will never meet his loved one, and also never meet his teacher, which is his father-in-law, that teach him to be a kind person. Hakuji was physically strong and a skilled fighter. After discovering his situation, Muzan would find Hakuji and offer him his help. He would not turn Hakuji into a demon, though, because he was healthy and somewhat dangerous if turned into a demon. Instead, Muzan would take him to a family shelter where Hakuji would be cared for and later on give him advice on what to do with his life. But what would happen to the other upper moons? Well, Hantengu would still be executed as a criminal. In addition, Gyokko, who was named Monagi when he was human, would be saved by Muzan and turned into a demon. However, he would not look like he did in the original series. He will look like a real artist this time, because he is an artist when he's still alive. Muzan would make a lot of effort to cure Gyokko of his obsession with corpses and turn him into a respectable demon, who could possibly contribute to the advancement of anatomy studies. On the other hand, Nakim, who developed a habit of killing people before performing on stage, would encounter Muzan. What if theory number 3? What if Zenitsu was strong, knew all thunder-breathing forms, and did not fall asleep when he fights? Imagine this. Zenitsu is struck by lightning again, but this time, instead of becoming a coward, he becomes brave and smart. He matures and knows his purpose is to defeat demons. If this happens, crazy things will happen. Our Thunderclap boy will not be bullied by his senior, and his senior Kaigaku will not be jealous of Master Jigoro for loving Zenitsu more and not giving him the name of the successor of thunder breathing. In this story, he will respect the master's decision because Zenitsu really deserves it. He masters every form of thunder breathing and he can fight like a normal person without having to fall asleep. Zenitsu will become mature and not chase girls anymore. He will be the normal one among Tanjiro and Inosuke. And not only that, his voice will be like this. Just like the voice when he falls asleep. His hair will still be yellow because he is still struck by lightning. He will be the strongest in the final selection and use his godlike speed to kill all the demons there and save a lot of people. If this happens, there will be more than just 5 demon slayers who pass the final selection this time. His Chuntaro will be proud to choose him this time. After getting his Nichirin sword, Zenitsu will go on a rampage from one mission to another, and then he will meet Tanjiro and Inosuke at the Demon Mansion. He will be the one who defeats the drum demon Kyogai by using his thunder speed. Tanjiro will wait outside and watch over the kids. This time, Inosuke will be the one who gets beaten down by Zenitsu because he tries to kill Nezuko. Zenitsu will also be the one who saves Tanjiro instead of Giyu and decapitates the Lower Moon 5 Rui's head, because he uses his hearing ability. But even the top-notch Zenitsu and Rengoku together are no match for Akarza, the demon who has mastered martial arts for hundreds of years. After he kills Rengoku, Zenitsu will use his Thunderclap final form to try to follow him into the forest, but he is too fast and he cannot find him. After the Mugen Train arc, Zenitsu will become the thunder-breathing Hashira after Rengoku. Because Zenitsu kills Rui, one of the 12 Kazuki, he will train harder and faster to become a Hashira, so in this theory the Hashira training arc will come sooner and it will be about Zenitsu, not Tanjiro. He will go help Tengen defeat Daki and Gyutaro with no problem, so Tengen will not lose his hand in this story. What if scenario number 4? What if Giyu became a demon? Imagine this scenario. Muzan realizes that he accidentally turned Nezuko into a demon because his blood cells on the murder scene send him a message. He decides to return to Tanjiro's house and finds Giyu there. Giyu recognizes him as the Demon King based on his ability and tries to stop him from pursuing Tanjiro and Nezuko. However, Muzan is a lazy demon and does not want to waste time fighting with Giyu. He either kills him or turns him into a demon by injecting his blood into him forcefully. He orders him to capture Nezuko for him, knowing that Giyu is a powerful water Hashira. Giyu, of course, does not want to become a demon or obey Muzan, but he has no choice. He becomes a mindless beast and chases after Nezuko. He eventually catches up with Nezuko and Tanjiro, who are on the run. Tanjiro pleads with Giyu to let them go, but Giyu ignores him and bites him, hungry for blood. Nezuko tries to defend her brother, but Giyu is much stronger than her. However, something unexpected happens. As soon as Giyu tastes Tanjiro's flesh, He regains his consciousness and remembers who he is. He also realizes that he can walk under the sun without burning. This is because Tanjiro and Nezuko have a special blood that is derived from the blue spider lily, a rare flower that Muzan has been searching for. Their mother used to make soup with the blue spider lily for them when they were young, and it gave them a unique immunity to Muzan's curse. It does not matter which one of them Giyu bites, he will break free from Muzan's control. Giyu then decides to help Tanjiro and Nezuko in their quest to defeat Muzan. He tells Tanjiro to train with his former master, Urokodaki, and he teaches Nezuko how to use the water-breathing technique. He also convinces Nezuko to stop eating humans and find a way to get blood without harming anyone. He introduces them to Tamayo, a demon doctor who buys blood from willing donors. He asks them to keep his existence a secret from the Demon Slayer Corps and to pretend that he died saving them from Muzan. He also warns them not to reveal their blood ability to anyone, as they do not know who might be a spy for Muzan. Giyu and Nezuko then join forces to assist Tanjiro from the shadows, without the Demon Slayer Corps knowing about it. They become a formidable team of Demon Slayers, with a unique advantage over Muzan and his minions. When the incident in Mount Natagumo occurs, Rui will be no match for Giyu Daemon and Nezuko's assistance. Nezuko has also become stronger after training with Giyu. Once Giyu and Nezuko rescue them, Inosuke and Zenitsu will join their friendship. However, a heartbreaking scene awaits when Shinobu arrives at Mount Natagumo and encounters Demon Giyu. She will be torn between sorrow and joy, seeing that Giyu is still alive. There will be no crow to stop her from attacking Nezuko this time. Shinobu will attempt to kill Nezuko, but Giyu will protect her and flee from the Demon Slayer Corps. He will look like a real artist this time, because he is an artist when he's still alive. Shinobu will still invite Tanjiro to her training class because she witnessed everything, and she wants to know the truth from Tanjiro, what happened to Giyu and how they can bring him back to life. After he reveals his secret, she will agree to take Tanjiro's blood for research and arrange a meeting with Ms. Tamayo to share information and knowledge. This will change the outcome of the fight between Akaza and Rengoku. Tanjiro will tell Demon Giyu and Nezuko to always follow him, so when the fight happened between Akaza and our flameboy Rengoku, Giyu will jumping out of nowhere to kick Akaza butt until sunrise. Giyu will hug Akaza until sun burn all Akaza into ash. Giyu is okay because he bite Tanjiro meat, so now he immunes to sunlight. What if theory number 5? What if Michikatsu Tsugikuni betrayed Muzan? What would happen if Michikatsu Tsugikuni, the Upper Moon One, turned against Muzan, the Demon King? There was a theory that said the reason why Michikatsu Tsugikuni went to Muzan and asked him to turn him into a demon was because he wanted to defeat Muzan by himself, to prove to his brother that he was stronger than him. This was his life goal. But after becoming a demon, he realized how strong Muzan was. Even though he easily defeated all the other Upper Moons by himself, he could not beat Muzan. So he had no choice but to play along. Time passed by and his brother grew old and died. He was stuck being a demon without realizing it, and his memory as a human faded away bit by bit. After his brother died, he had no purpose but to survive until one day he was strong enough to defeat Muzan. But a chunk of his memory was missing. He did not know that his purpose was to kill Muzan all along, because Muzan used his blood to block his memory. Muzan knew that Michikatsu wanted to kill him, but he liked to keep him around because he was the strongest Upper Moon that he could find, and his work was better than Doma and Akaza. Akaza always failed what Muzan asked him to do, and Doma was playing too much. He did not like the annoying attitude that this dude brought to the meetings. Michikatsu Tsugikuni never failed even once what Muzan asked him to do, but if there was anything that he knew he was not good at, he would respectfully decline from the start. But in this storyline, the Upper Moon One always search for his lost memory, and he will heard that the boy named Muichiro that has the same bloodline as him gain his memory back by using mist breathing technique. So Kokushibo will going to find that 14-year-old boy. He know that this little brat is going to be his great-great-great-grandson. This time, when Muichiro Takudo was fighting the Upper Moon 5 Gyoko, he would sense that Muichiro's blood was the same blood as the Upper Moon One, and his mist breathing style was also similar to the moon breathing style that the Upper Moon used. He would exchange this information by asking Muichiro to not kill him. But knowing Gyoko, he would go back to tell Muzan that Michikatsu Tsugikuni was about to betray him. He would tell him that mist breathing could restore the lost memory. just like Tokito got his memory back. He was lying, though, but Muzan was always skeptical about the Upper Moons having a lost memory. That made them want to kill Muzan. Muzan's insecurity kicked in, and he tried to kill the Upper Moon 1 before he got his memory back. He made Nakime summon him into the Infinity Castle and made Akaza, Doma, and Gyoko hide somewhere in the mansion ready to attack. Soon enough, the big battle in the Infinity Castle began. The fight was brutal. It involved a lot of ice and wind from Akaza and Doma. Gyoko would be the first one to die in this fight because his blood demon art was weak compared to Kokushibo, but he would have a hard time with Doma and Akaza, plus the little one-eyed woman moving the castle back and forth to distract him. Not to mention that Michael Jackson himself was also fighting Kokushibo from afar, because even though he was a demon, his sword was still made out of Nichiren blade. Fighting 4 vs 1, Kokushibo knew that he had to run, but there was no way out of there. He has no choice but threat Jackson that he's going to kill that cute little one-eyed demon. So this Infinity Castle will crash down. Since Nakime has a crush on Kokushibo, she will let him do whatever he wants with her body as he wish, and pretend to be kidnapped by him to make Master Michael Jackson let him go. When he was about to kill her, Muzan offered him a deal. He would let him go because the Infinity Castle was the best place for Muzan to hide and the best chance to win against all the Hashiras. He would let Kokushibo go, but he would take all his blood back from him too. But that was just a trick from Muzan. He would keep some of his blood in Kokushibo so he could track him down later. After leaving the Infinity Castle, he would immediately go to find Muichiro and see if what Gyoko told him was true. But after Muzan took most of his blood back, his memory would start to kick in again, and he would find out that he was related to Muichiro Tokito, the Mist Hashira. He recognized Muichiro's eyes and also sensed his bloodline through his swordsmanship. He then confirmed his suspicion by reading Muichiro's memories using his blood demon art. After knowing this, he would tell Muichiro where Muzan's location was and ask all the Hashira and demon slayers to prepare. But Muzan also knew this because he listened to them talking through the little blood that he left in Kokushibo. Kokushibo would help the demon slayers from behind because he was an enemy of the demon slayers for hundreds of years. He had killed many Hashira before, so there was no way they would get along. Only Tanjiro, Nezuko, and Ms. Tamayo would. Knowing Muzan, he was a man with a plan. He would not let them attack him first. He would recruit more demons as possible, and he would use Nakime to summon them one by one into the castle before they even had a chance to make a plan to attack Muzan. The first one to go would be Muichiro, and then Mitsuri, Shinobu, and Giyu Tomioka. He would summon one of them each time to fight with Akaza and Doma, and none of them would stand a chance in a 1 vs 2. Soon enough, Tanjiro and Kokushibo would know Muzan's plan and run to tell all the Hashira to hold hands together and not stay in the mansion because each path of the mansion was already combined with Nakime's blood. But sadly, Muzan's plan would work, and all of the Hashira would die except for the Stone Hashira who would still be fighting 1 vs 2 with Akaza and Doma. Doma and Akaza would not run out of power because Muzan was there to give them more blood. Luckily, Kokushibo knew the secret way to sneak into the Infinity Castle with Tanjiro and all of his Demon Slayer friends, which were 5 Demon Slayers. One who didn't talk, one who was smart, one who was stupid, one who was a thunderclap god, and one who used breathless breathing, plus 2 demons, one who was weird and one who was cute. All of them would come to save the Stone Hashira on time, but they would still struggle to defeat Akaza and Doma because of Nakime's power moving the castle, except him. But soon enough, there would be a surprise attack coming, which was Tengen and all of the legendary former Hashira coming to defeat Muzan by themselves. Ms. Tamayo and Yushiro would use their spells to distract Nakime and stop her from using her power. Ms. Tamayo would not kill Nakime because she thought she could cure everybody after killing Muzan. Ms. Tamayo would also use her spell to unlock Akaza's memory, and he would pick a side with the Demon Slayers and defeat Muzan. In the end, they would decapitate Muzan's head and Doma's head, but this time they would let Kokushibo finish the job and complete his purpose. Kokushibo would become the Demon King and he would cure all the demons back to humans. But Akaza would kill himself because of guilt. Kokushibo would also kill himself because his life goal to kill Muzan was complete. What if number 6? What if Nezuko ate Tanjiro? In this story, Giyu came a little earlier and he was busy chasing Muzan down without noticing that Nezuko was still alive. In this scenario, a new and completely different story would unfold. There would be no one to stop Nezuko from devouring her brother. No matter what Tanjiro tried to say to Nezuko, she would not understand and only see him as prey. Soon enough, he would be exhausted and lose to Nezuko. If Nezuko ate Tanjiro, she would become like any other normal demon. She would have to eat humans to survive. If Muzan's blood affected her, she would soon be noticed by him because of her strength. She would easily defeat some of the lower moons, at least stronger than Rui, because she consumed humans this time. Soon enough, she would climb up the ranks bit by bit. And yes, we admit that Gyutaro was the real Upper Moon 6, and not Daki. But Daki was at least Lower Moon level when Nezuko fought her. Nezuko would not become part of the Upper Moons immediately because that would take multiple years, and that would require her to defeat another Upper Moon. But within a few months, she would surely be stronger than the rest of the Lower Moons and hence be at least Lower Moon 1. With Nezuko eating humans, all of her abilities would skyrocket. Her regeneration ability was already on par with that of the Upper Moons, and all that while not even eating people. In this timeline, however, Nezuko would have the best regeneration among the 12 demon moons, Upper Moons included. Her blood demon art would be way more destructive. Her flames can turn anything they touch into ashes, and she can even set bomb traps with her blood that Nezuko can detonate at will. Her physical strength, speed, and shape-shifting ability are also greatly enhanced. Nezuko can even grow significantly larger in this state. In other words, Nezuko would be extremely overpowered and would be a demon in both literal and figurative senses. However, the story would also be profoundly affected by Tanjiro's death. Without him, no one would kill the hand demon during the final selection. Zenitsu and Inosuke would still meet during their first mission against Kyogai and the hand demon, and they would manage to defeat them with great difficulty. But they would not be able to keep this up for long without Tanjiro and Nezuko. When they encounter Rui's spider family, Zenitsu would be fortunate enough to face Rui's brother, and he would survive until help comes. Inosuke, on the other hand, would be unlucky, as he would face both Rui and his sister. Inosuke would stand no chance at this point, and he would die within seconds. He would be outnumbered and outmatched, and he would not last until Tomioka and Shinobu arrive. On Muzan's side, he would spare both Nezuko and Enmu when he kills the lower moons. Nezuko has become even more powerful. The worst part for Muzan is that if he ate Nezuko like he did with the other lower moons, he would have conquered the sun without realizing it. Nezuko has always been immune to sunlight. Let's skip to the Mugen Train arc. Rengoku was supposed to go solo on this mission. You see, Hashiras hardly ever team up for missions. There are only 9 Hashiras, and each has their own territory to guard. So, it would be impossible for them to cover all the hotspots if they paired up, especially on this mission that they thought was just a lower-level demon's work. So, on Rengoku's mission on Mugen Train, only Zenitsu tags along. Rengoku beats Enmu, but many people die because Nezuko, Tanjiro, and Inosuke weren't there to save them on the train. If you think that's bad, brace yourself for what comes next. In the Entertainment District arc, Tengen goes with Zenitsu again, just like Rengoku did. Against Gyutaro and Daki, Zenitsu can handle Daki in his sleep mode, but Tengen can't beat Gyutaro by himself. When Zenitsu is winning against Daki, Gyutaro gets mad and attacks Zenitsu to save his sister. Tengen loses track of Gyutaro for a moment, and Zenitsu bites the dust. Tengen is now fighting both Daki and Gyutaro. He already had a hard time fighting Gyutaro one-on-one, but now he has to face both of them at once to win. Tengen and his 3 wives all die sadly. Daki and Gyutaro killed many Hashiras before. So, Tengen was out of his league on his own. And the Swordsmith Village arc. Muichiro survives his fight with Gyoko and beats him anyway. You see, after he win the fight, he get poisoned and fainted. So Mitsuri has no help from anyone in this story. She has to fight the Upper Moon 4. Alone this time, she will be able to easily defeat the first 4 clone, but not the Hatred Demon. You see, the Hontengu clones are too many, and the way to kill him is too hard. Mitsuri can't beat him by herself, so she will die, and so are all the Swordsmith people. Only these 3 Swordsmith and Muichiro Tokido will survive by hiding in the forest. The final arc is different from what we know. In the original story, Muzan attacks the Demon Slayers to get Nezuko. He wants to eat her and conquer the sun, but that doesn't matter in our case. Muzan doesn't have to do something so crazy. Instead, the Demon Slayers and Hashiras die one by one. Nezuko becomes a badass and ruthless demon in a few decades. She even fights for a spot in the Upper Moons. Muzan could live for hundreds of years without knowing that Nezuko is immune to sunlight. He might never find out. Some people might say that if Nezuko was immune to sunlight, Muzan would know. Well, that's true if Nezuko went out in the sun. But Nezuko is so strong now, it could take hundreds of years for someone to make her go out in the sun. That's all for today's video. I spent a lot of hours making this video, and all I ask for is a subscribe. See you next time.